Hey, in this video I'm going to break down a Logic template that I've made that is strictly emulating consoles using channel strips and bus compressors and tape machines, saturators. I have many templates like these. I have a clean template, I have a stock Logic plugin template, and all of these are downloadable for free. The link is in the description. It's called the Subphotic Logic Pro Template Pack. So without any further ado, here comes the breakdown of the template. Let's go! So the template looks like this. I have a lot of other templates that looks very much like this. The only exception is that I have only analog hardware emulations going on in this template. At least I try my best to keep it that way. The idea here is that I can't use any other plugins. Of course, I can copy plugins and use them inside this session, but I can't load up new plugins. I only have to use what I already have right here. So as you can see, I have the SSL East channel strip from Plugin Alliance. I have this on all the tracks. So here I have the stereo beat. I have the drum loop if there's a drum loop in the track. Sometimes there's a stereo beats and vocals, and sometimes there's stems, and sometimes there's multi-tracks. So it really depends on the client or my collaboration partner or whoever. I have everything laid out here for every situation. The drum loops, I have 3 different kicks, 3 different snares, hi-hat, tambourines, percussions, and cymbals. That's the drum section. And all those are routed into bus 5, which is the drum bus. Then I have the bass, and it's usually sub bass and a more texturized bass, which might be a bit wider, for example, and more up in the frequency spectrum, and the sub bass, of course, which is at the very bottom, below 100 hertz at least. And both of these are routed into bus 6, which is the bass bus. And then I have the instrument section, which contains a main loop, an alternative loop, actually 3 alternative loops, and then I have some stabs and some hits and some pads and a synth or 2 and some sound effects like the transitional effects, for example. All of these are routed into bus 7, which is the instrument bus. And then comes the vocals, and vocals comes in basically 2 parts. We have the lead vocal section and we have the background vocal section. So first is the lead section, which is the main verse, and here we have the hook, and the hook is sometimes spread out in the stereo field, so we have something laying in the middle and something to be panned left or right. And all of these are routed into bus 8, which is the lead vocals bus. And then comes the background vocals for the verse, for the hook, and some ad-libs. Then, and this is interesting, I have the black box, the Acme Opticon XLA 3, and these are parallel buses. So I can send any track to these buses and get processing over here. So the idea is that I don't need to insert the LA2A on every vocal track, for example. I've tried this technique and it's really not for me. I like to have them as inserts, but in a real world situation, I think I could have done that. I think I could have pulled that off. If I had printed each vocal track with the processing, I could have done that with having only 1 or 2 LA2As, I think. And I actually, come to think of it, I only use the LA2A, for example, and the 1176. I only use them as mono. I would do in a real world situation with only 1 of both. Okay, so here we have the LA2A, the Lala, which is a free plugin from Analog Obsession. You can check it out. The link is in the description. He has a Patreon. If you think that you have gotten too much free stuff from him, you can just give him money every month. Also, from Analog Obsession is the Fetish, which is the 1176 FET compressor. And then we have some reverb and delay auxes, some effect auxes. We have a small verb, a big verb, a delay. So everything is readily available. Whenever you need some reverb on a vocal, you can just go to the vocal track here, for example, vocal verse. You can just hit up with some, and you can just turn up and it's already there. Except you have to activate the plugin, that is. But it's really simple. You don't have to find the plugin, start messing around with the timing and everything. Everything is all set in this template. I've used Superplate from Soundtoys, and here we have several emulations, but we can just keep it simple and keep it 140, for example, which is a famous hardware reverb. We have for delay the Echo Boy Jr. In fact, I use this because I don't have any emulations from famous delay boxes. I will eventually get some, and then I will update the template. I have an aux called Vox Fatten, which is basically a tape machine from Arturia. I got this one for free actually. It was a plugin boutique special. I think this costs like $99 or something. So that was a real stroke of luck. But my suggestion would be to be on the mailing lists of these plugin companies and these plugin stores. Sometimes you get some gems for free or even for really cheap. So here we can insert a lot of nice grit to the vocals with this plugin, and also of course to the mix box and tracks. And this I really love this. This is a great plugin. And here are the buses, which I mentioned before, or the drums, bass, instruments, and the beat effects. That's an ohm bus, and we have the lead vocals and the background vocals, and then we have a Vox effects bus track. Then we have the beat bus, and then we have the vocal bus. Here's the instrumental, and here's the acapella. And then comes all the effects blended together, both the beat effects and the vocal effects, and some reverb and delay. And finally, the mix bus, which goes into the master bus. I have the same channel strip on all buses. Let's see. Here's some metering, some vintage metering going on, some VU meters. It's really handy, this one from Kranghelm. And both the instrumental bus or beat bus and the acapella or Vox bus, I have a limiter. This is the Frontier from D16 Group. This is a free plugin. On the mix bus, I have this channel strip as well. I seldom use it, but I have this one, which I really like, which is the SSL native bus compressor. And what I really like about this is that it has the sidechain option. I could also copy this or drag this over to, for example, the beat, and have the acapella duck the beat a bit. So that's really practical. And I also have the Muke Junior, which is an emulation from some very famous, very expensive hardware. Finally, on the master bus, I have a CQ, which is an emulation of an old Siemens unit, actually. And it sounds really good. It sounds really analog and crispy. I sometimes use this. What you can note about this template is that there are no visuals going on here. There are no frequency spectrum analyzers. This template encourages to really use your ears. When I have all these analyzers going on, I tend to mix with my eyes, and it's really not the best thing you can do. So that was the template. And just as a reminder, this template is available to be downloaded free. The link is in the description. I have this template. I have a clean template without any processing at all. I have a hardware type template. I have a stock Logic template where I use only stock Logic plugins, which is also readily available to just start mixing. I have another analog template which uses a lot of UAD plugins, and I update the templates as I do more mixing jobs, and once in a while I will send you the updates, so you will always be updated as I improve my templates. So how about that? Free, and you also get updates. Now, what are actually templates good for? In my opinion, I think templates are a way of getting inspired, maybe to get some new, fresh ideas on how to run your mixing session. So how do you use a template? And my suggestion is this: download the template, open it up, browse through it to get some ideas, try it out on a couple of mixes, and then you make it your own. You move stuff here, you move stuff there, you erase something, you add something else. You take whatever you like from these templates that I offer, and then you make them your own. I think templates are useful when used as sources of inspiration, but not as straitjackets. And if you want to see this exact template in action, check out this video, because here I mix a song from start to finish using this exact template, only moving some plugins and a little bit of cheating as well, but you know, it's a free world. And if you like videos like these, hit the like button and consider subscribing to get more videos like these, and I can't wait to catch you in the next one. Peace!